Hello, I'm Rachel DeSando, Executive Director at Speech for Life, and I'm so excited for our final live for Dyslexia Awareness Month. We have Renee Matlock here. She is one of the top Fast ForWord providers in the country since 1998. So welcome, Renee, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Oh, I'm honored to be with you, Rachel. That makes me feel very old, though. But nothing excites me more than to talk about my two favorite topics, working with children with dyslexia and Fast ForWord.
I know Fast ForWord has been such a game changer. So many of our families come to us not sure at first if their child has dyslexia. They don't really know what dyslexia is. They just know they keep trying and trying the same thing over and over, and it's not working to help their children. So when they come to us and we have therapy and then these other really amazing tools and programs like Fast ForWord, it's a beautiful thing. So my question for you is, what is your favorite thing you've learned about helping the population with dyslexia?
Oh, well, I don't think there's just one thing. One of the main things I've learned by working with children with language literacy / dyslexia challenges is that they're so resilient and they're willing to work so hard because they want to succeed. I've also, one of the other things I've really learned about is how these parents will do anything to help their child succeed in school. Nothing is more frustrating than to see your child struggle with reading. And perhaps the older child had no difficulties with learning to read. And then probably the last thing that I really learned is that these children can be helped. If we follow the gold standard and evidence-based practice, we can help these kids succeed. I'm going to share just a little story. And it's funny because this just came up this week. I have a client or former client who did go through Fast ForWord and some speech and language therapy following Fast ForWord. And her name is Nicole, and she's now 25 years old. I got goosebumps talking about her. Her mom literally emailed me yesterday and wanted me to know that Nicole is now an entrepreneur. She's an esthetician and has opened her own business. And that was my 15-year-old Nicole, who at the time was just, we just didn't know where she was headed. And it's just a good ending to the story.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, I know as a therapist and as a parent how good of a feeling that must be for both you and for her mom to be able to share that.
Her mom and dad are just thrilled.
Well, I think you gave a beautiful example of my next question, which is, how has Fast ForWord transformed your view of these students' potential?
Mm-hmm. Well, Fast ForWord, in my mind, is life-changing. I could tell you one story after another, just like Nicole. Fast ForWord is the only program that works on the underneath skills that result, in an improvement in dyslexia. We can't just work on surface skills. We can't just work on, connections and vocabulary. We've really got to get at the underneath skills of, I use the acronym MAPS, the memory, the attention, the processing speed, and the organizing and sequencing. And Fast ForWord is the only program that works on this. And they have done functional MRIs pre-Fast ForWord and post-Fast ForWord. And there is document changes in the structure, figure that one out, and function of the brain. Function-wise makes sense because the cells are communicating with each other better. But there was a study done out of Chicago that actually showed the difference in the myelin sheath, which is the fatty coating around all the nerves of the brain and the spinal cord. And they have documented thicker myelin sheath around these nerves, allowing the nerves to conduct the impulses through the brain faster. I do have another quick story, if you don't mind.
I
I always get such a kick up. I'll never forget this one. I was meeting with a parent and a mom and dad, and we were talking about Fast Forward and why their daughter was a really good candidate for Fast Forward. And the dad was on board. He was ready to go. The mom, I could just tell from her body language, she didn't want to hear anything about this. And she literally said to me, "It's nothing but snake oil." Okay, so she did go, the daughter did, she was like in 7th or 8th grade. She did go through Fast Forward. And about halfway through the program, the mother met me in the hallway in my clinic. And she looked at me and she said, "Renee, that snake oil really works."
Oh,
I was like, oh my God, I won her over. I didn't win her over. Fast Forward and her daughter won her over.
absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. I know the students that I've seen that have only been on the program for a few months, the progress is huge. And not only are the teachers and the families noticing, the improvement in reading, but because we're working on these underlying areas, those MAPS areas, they're seeing those improvements in attention and self-correcting and self-monitoring their other life skills as well as their speech. And it's fun. For those of you that don't know, it's kind of like a video game. The child logs in for 30 minutes a day for the minimum and 5 days a week. And we train you as the parents to cheer them on and encourage them, and we coach them. And that kind of brings me to my next point. Renee, if you could help me explain the value of having a speech language pathologist coaching the students throughout their Fast Forward program and the power of coupling it with speech therapy as well.
Well, Rachel, I'm a little biased in answering that question.
Wow.
I feel a speech language pathologist is one of the best professionals to work with you, the parent, and your child in moving your child through this program. And why is that? The speech language pathologist truly is the only professional that has such a strong educational training background in language development, language disorders, treatment, diagnosis. So your speech pathologist, as your child is going through the program, will be looking at the underneath effects of what's going on with Fast Forward on your child's language. And one of the best things, and I almost always did that, it was very rare that I didn't, I would always pair speech and language therapy with Fast Forward, because Fast Forward will develop those MAP skills, but then your speech language pathologist, Rachel, can help move your child in using those new skills, those newfound skills, and transfer it to the language-based skills of reading, writing, and spelling.
Exactly. That was beautifully said. Yeah. And it's so exciting to be part of that journey with our students. And here at Speech for Life, we're really searching for the specific students. So it's not snake oil in that we really screen our students and our families. Sometimes we are working with a child that's working with articulation, and the family's more concerned about how they're being understood by others. But then later, maybe they've even graduated from speech. We try to do screenings before this point, but they'll come back to us with these other concerns that are popping up in their academics. And I think a lot of people wait a little too late. Yeah. It's never too late, but the sooner we can get started, the better in giving them those foundational skills so that they can be caught up. So
build that self-esteem and confidence.
Exactly. It gets to a point sometimes if we wait a little too long, the child's really showing more behavior. It seems like oppositional behavior when it comes to reading and writing tasks. And it's just because their confidence is so low. So if we can catch them early enough before they really try to throw in the towel, their progress is often a lot faster. And
who wants to work on anything that's so hard?
Yeah, exactly.
We need to address it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Renee. Do you have anything else to add or?
No, not really. Don't just dig into the program, educate yourselves, and use your professional, your speech language pathologist, Rachel, to help you make the decision on whether or not your child is the right fit for Fast Forward. Because Fast Forward works if your child is the right fit and that you as the parent help your child follow the protocol in completing the program. It's the best.
It is. Thank you so much, Renee. I appreciate everything that you said, and I hope that we can make a difference in continuing to educate all the wonderful families out there looking for hope. So,
And thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
all right. If anyone's interested in learning more about Fast Forward, look in our details below, and we'll love to have a complimentary consultation with you to discuss Fast Forward. Have a great day.